All right, is everybody ready, or y'all?
I'm here, Nobasaki Kushi, here, Nobasaki Gochi.
Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddy Grace Webben.
And today we will be continuing our playthrough of Chrono Cross, stopping at the, I'm just going to say it, stopping at the body switch. If you don't know what that is, then you probably should have played this week. But that's the best way to say what happens. If you want a non-spoilery version, since I've already given you the spoilery version, we're stopping at the end of Fort Dragonia. But hey. But before we get to all of that, how is everyone's week?
It's over.
Good.
I've had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And it's all dumb drama, and I just
Yeah.
like I don't even want to go into it, but it's just been a lot, and I've had a lot of stress and anxiety, and of course, like always, I procrastinated on playing, and I was gonna play yesterday, but then work was really stressful and busy, and I couldn't, and so I had to play it all today, and now I'm at like 16 hours on my game, and
Christ,
I'm just not feeling this one at all so far.
And I think a lot of that probably comes to the pressure of procrastination, because I already knew this game was like chill hangout vibes, and Maddy already knew this game was chill hangout vibes, and you've been doing the normal thing of today's your day off, so you play it on your day off, which of course is normal, but then that gives you a big like looming thing over your head.
Yeah,
and I don't think I would like
limit.
This game trying to blast through it, and I think that might be a part of it, which I
know.
mean, you can't move your day off, so there's not really a solution there. But I think had you just casually landed upon this game and had like 6 months to piddle around in it, you probably would like it better.
Well, and I think that's the big issue that I've had with most of the games that we've played, is that like I feel this pressure to complete it, and so like I'm the type of person where if I have to do something, I will like it less than if I just want to do it and do it voluntarily. And it's not that I don't want to play these games. It's that now suddenly I've got this pressure on me to play them, and so that makes it more stressful in and of itself. And then a lot of these games have really janky mechanics that I'm not used to. You know, I never had a PlayStation until PS4. So
yeah, this is your second pre-rendered background game ever, and the first one was Legend of Dragoon that we played like a year ago. So
that game's kind of for babies.
Yeah.
And I loved Legend of Dragoon. Like, even though it did stress me out at times, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I'm foreseeing that this game will be the same thing, where it stresses you out at times, and you'll be down with it at the end. But we're not there yet. Yeah. So right now it's just the holy shit, why can't I beat just the queen's ass? I've been pressing the right fucking buttons for and ever.
That's that's an old, who remember? That's a throwback right there.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about that today with a couple of friends. I have real life friends. You would know them, Sam. Ruth Colbeck and Michael Quintana.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I finally...
Shout outs to Q.
Yeah, shout outs to Q. Shout outs to Ruth. I love you both. But I was telling him I finally played Chrono Trigger because Ruth has been wanting me to play Chrono Trigger for fucking ever.
Let's see, the game's 25 years old, so about 25 years.
I was like, I finally fucking did it. I played Chrono Trigger and I really loved it. And now we're playing Chrono Cross and I want to die. And Q goes, Chrono Trigger aged like fine wine. Chrono Cross aged like milk. So that's kind of how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, I am really appreciating Chrono Cross right now so much that somebody, shoutouts to Verge, our new friend in the Discord.
I was going to have to make sure we did that, yeah.
He asked what our top 5 games were, and top 5 PS1 games, and I put Chrono Cross on the list. That being said, the total number of PS1 games that I've played to completion is probably 10.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 5.
Oh, no.
It's on my top 5 games out of 3.
Yeah, but so it's not necessarily like pushing a lot of things out, but I am like thoroughly enjoying its density in the same way that I did. Like, I wonder what happens if I wait for 10 minutes in Undertale, and there's a lot of stuff like that. Like, I didn't mention it last time, but my subplot was I had to go save Nikki because everyone on the boat was like, we got a show to do. So I went and got Nikki, and I needed to go back to like heal or buy some items because I found some iron or something. And I'm like, I wonder. And so I go into the boat, and there's a cutscene there of him being like, oh no, I have to go and save my sister and blah, 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 blah. We can't do the show. And like, they thought of that. Like, oh yeah, if you go and complete your quest, the quest is now invalid because you have a new quest, but we're still going to put the quest resolving scenario there. And I'm really liking all of that. I agree the combat is not great, but I've abstracted a level onto it where I don't even like think of each individual attack as an attack. I just think of it as, oh, this is my combo that I do on the turn. And the only time I break from that is if I try to like leave it on the yellow so I can back out and use an element on one turn type thing. But I mostly am just like, this is the turn where I attack, and this is the turn where I do magic. And I've just simplified it and overpowered with iron weapons. But that was the answer to how did Eli's week go, which is somehow also our memorable moments for the week. But well, how was your week, Maddy?
My week was also eventful. Well, it wasn't really eventful so much as it was just 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but there was the heat wave here in California. I know that y'all Texas people will say, oh, that's normal for us Texans. And guess what? I was a Texan for the first 26 years of my life, so you'd think I'd be used to it, but no. 100-degree weather?
I don't feel like
sucks.
Anyone gets used to this.
No, you never actually get used to it. So anyway, the point is, for the first time since moving here, I've been like, holy mother of balls, it's so hot. And also, it's COVID, so I work from home now, and I work upstairs. And if you recall, in California, you don't got air conditioning. So, like, I'm just sweating buckets all day while I'm tutoring my students. Luckily, they are too, so it's not like it's, like, weird that I'm so sweaty. But, yeah, and then I streamed. I played this game for about 11 hours this week, though that was a lot more due to my own shenanigans. Had some pretty fun streams, though. For example, there's a point in the game where I just ran right past the save point because the background was kind of blue colored and the save point was kind of blue colored, and I ran past it, and I ran past it into a boss, and then I died. And I was gonna be like, no, but it was so blue. Like, this is the game's fault for making the background too blue. But every single person on my stream said, "Save, you idiot," as I ran past it. Like 4 different people were like, "Save point, save point, save point." And so anyway, stuff like that. But anyway, other cool thing is I ordered some glasses online. and they finally arrived on Friday. And it's my first time ever ordering glasses online. I wasn't sure if they were going to fit well. The size I got was a little bit smaller than my current glasses, so I was a little worried. But A, they fit great, and B, I fucking love them.
Nice.
Although, when I first put them on, I saw you remember in SpongeBob when... Is it SpongeBob where he's like blind or something? And it's the episode of Dexter's Lab where he puts on glasses and then he's like better glasses, or he fixes his eyesight with like, technology, and then he sees that everything is hideous all the time now because he can see all of its tiny imperfections. He has like supervision, so he sees like every pore in his parents' face, and like it's like sees every little imperfection. That's what it was like with me having normal vision, because I've had the same glasses for the last 3 years. So, like, also the day that I got the glasses, I was really sweaty and also hadn't shaved in, like, a day. So I go to the bathroom, I put on the glasses, and I look in the mirror, and I, like, recoiled from what I saw.
You're like a real... You're like one of those realistic cutaways at SpongeBob.
Yes, no, that's literally what it was.
The SpongeBob reference.
It was that, except with more dysphoria. So because again, I also haven't shaved in like 2 days, so I'm like, I got this disgusting stubble, I got all these pores, I'm sweaty as shit, and I was like, I've made a huge mistake getting
I'm
these new
ugly
glasses.
and I'm proud.
Eventually I got over myself and got used to it, and my first thought was literally like, oh my god, this is how I really look like. I've been this ugly all along. But first of all, I shaved. Second of all, I got over myself a little bit, and now I'm like, these glasses are amazing. I am absolutely in love with them. It's so nice to have a change to my aesthetic, because I've been kind of languishing because I can't go shopping or anything. And also I've got three different jobs that I'm very actively looking at, all of which are good prospects. Only one of them has technically gotten back to me, but it did get back to me. I took a 2-hour-long online assessment for it, which was hard. So anyway, 3 different jobs. Send me posy vibes, and that's it. That's it for me. Yeah. Also GDQ.
So, yes, GDQ. we pulled ourselves away from the Twitch stream to record this podcast because Hollow Knight is looming at us in about 40 minutes. So we're going to speed through this so we can all catch Hollow Knight.
Yes.
But my week was great. Our furniture came in from IKEA, so I now have like a battle station. It's in Creations Quarter if you want to look at it, Eli.
I didn't see it.
And or Maddy if you didn't see it earlier. But it's luxuriously large. I have always only had a place to put my computer and never a desk. And now I have a desk, and it is huge. I have 2 screens for my gaming PC. I have a CRT for my PS3. I have a 4K monitor and a laptop for my work laptop. And every single screen that has an HDMI input also has a console on it. So I have a 360 and a Wii U on my computer screens. I have a Switch on my 4K monitor, which is hilarious. But so I have everything hooked up and tons of desk space. So I'm not like having to balance my Coke can on like my laptop keyboard or anything silly like that. Like I can just set stuff down. My microphone is just in front of me on my desk and not like precariously pushed around anything. It's a good feeling.
I have really 3 comments on this desk. First of all, you're right. Luxurious is the best word to describe it. I can't believe how big it is. Like, wow. You get so much space to just do whatever you need to do. Second of all, I think it's hilarious that the center of the entire thing is a CRT. That's lovely. And third of all, actually, I have 3 comments. I see that you are now a true. You very quickly have become a true Midwesterner because there's a can of Faygo in the picture.
Yes,
I've never had Faygo, but according to my girlfriend, who is also from the Midwest, Faygo is really good. Actually, they're super into it. So,
yeah, Faygo is so their diet stuff, because I still am trying to not drink my calories, even though I have ate a lot of them. I am the fattest I've ever been, but I'm trying to at least not drink my calories. So I've had Diet Faygo Cola, which is pretty good. It's approximately Diet Coke, so it's not a Coke Zero, but it's pretty good. But Diet Faygo Grape, their famous grape soda, is it's cough syrup. It is real bad. Don't like it at all. Pawned it off on the 3-year-old because she doesn't know better. She's never had real grape soda. So,
and if you have her drink enough of it, then when she gets sick and has to drink cough syrup, she'll like it.
Yeah, it's smart parenting, not child abuse.
Train her to think that things that taste bad are good. Actually,
I also did their. I did the diet version of their Sprite knockoff that looks and is marketed as a Mountain Dew knockoff called Moon Mist, and that was really good. Their diet one of that was great. But other than that, I went shopping at Woodman's Market, which is employee owned. So fuck yeah, and
that's great.
I bought local. 100% of the stuff I got, except for Summer's Dunkin' Donuts coffee and some Honey Bunches of Oats granola, because I couldn't find the actual granola section, but that one was on an end cap, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna grab it and fucking go. I'm tired of being in here, because there were way too many people in that Woodman's, and it made me skeeved out because of COVID.
Oh,
but I bought super local, and it was great. I tried Bellatorio, I think it is, pizza, and holy shit, it is the best frozen pizza I've ever had in my entire goddamn life. It is so good.
Man, you're making me want to move to You're making me want to move to Wisconsin.
You should move to Wisconsin. There's so much cheese here.
I'm not. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move to Wisconsin.
Yeah, I like everything that I love about it is so specifically tailored to me, where it's like, there's a good local game store and enough targets where I can check multiple stores, and that's it. And that's all the the city that I need. Otherwise, it's just country suburbia, and I'm loving that because I have fiber internet. So as long as I can be on the cusp of country but fiber internet, that's perfect for me. That's
also, frankly, right now in COVID times, we don't live in places anymore. Have y'all noticed that?
Yeah.
We don't live in, I don't live in Oakland. I live, my life is my house, one of my friends' house, the grocery store, and that's it. And if those three things, if my house, my friend's house, and the grocery store were if those three things were in the middle of a forest, then the only difference is that when I drive from one to the other, I would be seeing a forest outside my window instead of a city. It's weird. We don't live in places anymore.
It's crazy. But we have squandered 25 of our available 60 minutes before Hollow Knight starts.
Let's fucking kick it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's.
I mean, they're probably
listen
behind
to
schedule,
some.
But yeah.
Yeah, the last I checked, they were running quite behind schedule, so we're okay. But I don't know what music we'll listen to. There was a lot of good ones this week, so we'll listen to something, and then we'll get started talking about this game. So, last time on Chrono Cross, we assaulted Viper Manor, and Kid was with us, and then Lynx threw a dagger, and it hit Kid, and she fell off a balcony, and we jumped off after her, and we all passed out underwater, so we saved, and then for some reason, we're the one that's, like, sick in bed when we wake up, and we're like, oh, your friends are all outside waiting for you, and you go out there, and Kid's like, hey, yeah, I was stabbed, but, like, whatever. but then she dramatically collapses to the floor because she's been poisoned, and it's weird that like it didn't just fade up and she was already in bed. Like it had to show you this scene of her fucking falling out, but whatever. Yeah. It's cool. We are out on a little island town called Goldov, and that's where all of the Cha people live. So Korcha, Matcha,
Orca.
Did we talk about Korcha's like one brief scene last week, or have we not talked about him?
We did.
Okay, cool.
We vaguely mentioned him.
Cool.
But yeah, he's someone we met last week. He was a little boat ferryman. He's the person that took Eli to Viper Manor.
Oh, that's right.
So then we are here with him, and he's like, hey, I happened to be by in my boat, so I was the one that saved you. And we're like, gee, thanks, man. And Korcha is hella hot for Kid, and talks about it a lot. We'll talk about it even more in mine and Maddy's route through this week. But so she passes out, and we take her into the doc, who is a hacky sack player from the year 1998. And he has a beanie and baggy jeans and a jacket tied around his waist. So, yeah.
I love him.
He's an extra in the Power Rangers movie from the 90s.
He's Hammer.
He's Hammer. So, he says that she was poisoned with hydra venom, and it's apparently a slow acting poison, and that's why she fell out after we had woken up. So we're like, okay, so hydra venom, we can get an anti-venom. Let's do this and save her. And he's like, yeah, funny thing, hydras are extinct, so she's just gonna die. So then it asks you a question. What are you gonna do about that, Serge? And you can be like, oh, well, technically it asks us a question in a second, but I'll say it now. I forgot there's a scene with Harley. But it's like, what are you going to do about that, Serge? There's no such thing as hydra antivenom. Are you going to try anyways, or give up and let Kid die? And I'm like, let Kid die. And it's like, Korch is like, what the fuck? And I'm like, never mind. I can't do it. I can't commit. I wanted to have coverage so we could talk about all the routes, but I can't do it. So I gave up, and I had to save Kid. I couldn't do it.
Nope. I was like, fuck her.
I was probably gonna let her die, because that's the only path I've never taken in this game. But I was streaming, and everyone on my stream was like, don't you fucking dare, you asshole. And I was like, I mean, to be fair, it didn't take a lot of, like, I didn't want to do it. So when I saw that the people in my stream didn't want me to do it, I was like, okay, fine, I'm not doing it. Sorry. Which meant I had a whole extra dungeon.
Yeah. That dungeon is kind of cool. Glad you didn't have to play it, Eli, because you would have been twice as stressed.
Yeah, but I'm definitely glad I didn't have to, even though the walkthroughs I found were really confusing.
And kept talking about it?
Mm-hmm. And so I thought I had to go there, and I did, and I'm like, where the fuck is this boss that's supposed to be here? Oh, I'm getting poisoned for no reason. Also, sorry, I'm eating pizza.
That's fine. Pizza's yummy.
Pizza.
So yeah, before it asks us that question, Harley does bust in and chews us out. I'm trying to remember what she
so she shows up. Says. It's kind of interesting. She has shadow powers, so just like Link's last week. She's not actually here. She's just astral. She's just Star Wars she's just the Rise of Skywalkering over to us. But she pretty much is just checking in to see. I'm guessing, if I had to guess, I would say that Link sent her to find out like if Kid died or not. And she sees Kid, and if you recall, she has the hots for Surge, so she's like, she like shit talks Kid and says like, Surge, leave that hussy, you don't need her, fuck, she sucks. And then she leaves. That's the whole scene.
Okay. I was just skimming down through the thing, and I saw the pictures. I'm like, that feels like it's important because she's important, but it really wasn't.
She was just checking in, again, probably for nefarious reasons.
Yeah. So I chose to find a way to save her. I have the Let's Play actually chose not to, but it's a completionist. So on their New Game Plus, they also recorded talking about saving them. So I still have notes. So I say I'm going to find a way to save her, and everyone's like, but what the heck are we going to do? Hydras are extinct. The Hydra marshes, that place on your map, it hasn't been the same in, I don't know, approximately 10 years. I wonder what that's hinting at you to go and do. And so did you have to go to the homeworld for any reason this week, Eli?
Yeah, because I had to. So let me rack my brain and try to remember, because I didn't take any fucking notes about.
No, it's fine. Doing. I think did you go for the water dragon aisle? Is that still done on homeworld?
Yeah, you still have to do that in homeworld. So after you hold on, I still have the guide up somewhere.
Okay.
But oh, there we go. That was why I lost it. So when you choose not to save Kid, Torcha gets all butthurt with you because he's in love and bloody blah, and you're bad friends. You go to him and you ask for his boat, and he's like, "I'm not fucking giving you my boat. You guys are assholes who are gonna let Kid die." And Torcha's mom is like, "You shut your face. That, like, what the hell would you do in that situation? Like, you wouldn't know what to do either." And it wasn't that they refused, they just didn't know what the hell they were supposed to do because Hydras are fucking extinct, you clod.
It's that reminded me, the choices are not save Kid, let Kid die. It's what are you going to do? And it's I don't know, or find a way to save her. It's not Kid, it's not like Surge is like, let this motherfucker die. It's you JRPG hero and say, I'm going to bend the world to my will, or saying, I don't fucking know, I'm just going to fucking wing it. So
yeah, pretty much.
It is not admitting you are evil here, like the way Maddy's chat interpreted it.
So Kid gives you her amulet, but Korcha actually took it away from you. And sets it aside and is like, "No, you're not allowed to have this because you're a douche." And so, we went with Matcha back to. She takes us back to Termina, where I recruited Greco, who is a luchador who speaks Spanish but is named Greco for whatever reason.
It's because his counterpart is named Romana, so it's
I know.
Greco-Romana.
And I get
because
that.
But that's it.
That's the only reason.
Localizers, making a two-person pun.
Yeah,
I fucking love Greco. Just FYI, if you're not using him, you could try using him because he's great. He hits real hard.
Oh, nice. I might try him then. So and Glenn mentions going over to this little hermit island where you can talk with Radius,
which we both had to do that, so we'll cover that in a second. I just didn't know if you had to for the Water Dragon Isle, which we'll get to in a bit as well.
And then once we got back to Gul'Dov, and like we went inside. There was something else I did in there, I'm sure. I can't remember what it was. But we went back inside and Kid was not in the bed anymore. And so everybody's like, "Oh, well, she's fucking dead. Rip. F's in chat." And then she comes in and she's like, "What the fuck are you effing for? I'm right here." So she and Doc join the team, and then we get the amulet and we can go back to Homeworld and go to the Water Dragon Isle.
Okay, cool. Nice. So how it goes for us is we're like, I don't fucking know what to do, but we still have the amulet. So in my case, Nikki is like, well, the where the angels dare not tread, or whatever the fuck, instead of just Space Gate. He's like, so Space Gate is probably on the beach when you came here. Like, that's where it was. We should go investigate. And so you make your way to Opasa Beach with the Astral Amulet, and you can switch over to back to Homeworld and go to their Hydra Marsh, which isn't yucky and poisonous and broken. So you can go and explore around in there.
Well, it's not yucky and poisoned yet.
Yep. So you can you meet this character named Biba, who I love and I would die for. I mean, I slaughtered about 15 of them by the end of this dungeon, so I apparently would kill for them as well. But they're great. Every word that, like, if you squint and also like look through like a special like 3D glasses and also listen to it backwards while watching Wizard of Oz, potential to switch a word, the word Biba, he does. And it's amazing. Like, this Biba, no place for humans, Biba. Go away. Biba off. And it's great. He's horrible. I love him. But so you run into him, you slaughter him a lot, and get his flute that can bring down a wingipede. And if you bring down said wingipede at the right place, it's a short little boss fight, and it busts a big ass hole in the floor where you fall down and land on this other boss to have another boss fight back to back. This time it's with a pentapus. It is an octopus with 5 legs. And so you beat the pentapus and save this little fairy that was down there, and she comes along with you. And her name is Rasley, and she was the girl that Maddy couldn't remember.
Yep, Rasley.
That
was
didn't
the
happen
one.
in mine, by the way.
Yeah,
What?
this is
Oh, yeah.
this is in the dungeon. You didn't have to do it all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is all in the forest.
Okay, I got mixed up between...
But Rasley was also the one who was in my dream sequence at the beginning of the game, which is randomly determined. But hey, looks like it. So good thing I picked this path, because otherwise it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, would have been a weird. Well, I mean, mine was weird because I have neither Oralha or Chef Boy, so my dream is an impossibility. But yeah, so we take down the Pentapus and we save Rasley, and she mentions that she comes from Dragon Isle, and we're like, cool, we'll save that for later. And she's like, where are you guys going? Can I come with you? And we're like, yeah, it means there's a chance you'll never see your friends again, because we're going to a different dimension. And she's like, whoa, cool, coming. And so she joins you anyways. And so you head back to another world, but on your way out, there are dwarves, and are like, oh, it's not on the way out. We didn't get the Hydra yet. Sorry.
Yeah. This is all a side quest within a side quest, basically.
Yeah. So we make our way further into the Hydra marshes with Rasley on our team, and there's a big Hydra. We run into some dwarves right before it who are like, the Hydra are sacred, don't hurt them. And we're like, yeah, we're going to slaughter the shit out of them anyways. So we do so.
Yeah, and to clarify, it is very, very heavily foreshadowed. It's not subtle at all. It's like, yeah, this is an ecosystem that is very delicate, and the Hydra is the most important. It's like the king predator of this ecosystem, but also it's like magical. It's like the king of the swamp. And if it wasn't in the other universe, they hunted all the Hydras because they're bad. Like, humans specifically hunted all the Hydras to extinction in the other universe, and that's why the swamp is poisonous now. Yeah, and the dwarves tell you all this for like the 5th time, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna protect the Hydra, and you're like, I'm gonna save one human being. I'm gonna kill lots of sentient
dwarves.
Wreck
your sacred home and kill your god king because my friend has a fever. So see ya. So we slaughter a bunch of dwarves and then slaughter the Hydra, but it's okay because the Hydra was pregnant, so we give the Hydra a emergency C-section and release its baby out into the swamp. And
wait, what? That didn't happen in mine.
I didn't make any choices.
Maybe you secretly did?
No, I'm following along. It's like after the fight, the dwarf is like, do you think you're the only ones who live on this planet? Don't kid yourselves. You're just hairless apes, or worse, you're nothing more than freaks of evolution. And runs off. And Rasley is like, it's sad, but I understand what he says. Did you not have Rasley in your party?
No, I did. Oh, in my party. So, she wasn't in my party.
So maybe it's a Rasley specific thing. Maybe that was the choice I didn't make. But she says that the Hydra has newborns in her womb, so we give it an emergency C-section and release the Hydra out into the world.
Yeah, no, mine, it was just dead.
So we'll follow up on that plot thread when we get to Water Dragon Isle, because that came up for me there. But yeah, so we release its little babies and go out on our merry ways. So on our way out, all of the dwarves, which were like everywhere, are gone. And so there's like no mobs left to fight at all the entire way out. So we make our way back to another world, and we go to Goldove, and we give a kid the antidote. But she's like, I actually feel better already. Looks like I would have been all right without any antidote at all. And we're like, damn you. But Doc is like, well, since you've got this, we now can have an antidote forever, so we can, like, you did us a great service, like, for the good of the people. Don't be mad that you did this dungeon for no good reason, but we're mad anyways. So we let's see. So we tell Doc about how we got it from the other world, and all go to bed. And at night, we see that Mel, who is Korcha's sister, steals all of Kid's elements, which is weird because elements have seemed like an abstraction, and your element grid has seemed like not a thing that exists in the real world. But apparently, your element grid can be stolen. And that's what Mel does. She breaks in and steals Kid's element grid.
Can't believe she stole our captcha log.
Yes. And so you wake up and you can't find it, so you have to go and find Mel, and you look everywhere for it, and it takes a long time because I'm not good at searching this weird laid out town. And so we get everything back, and decide to head to Termina. There's a lot in the scene, but I don't think any of it was important of the Mel scene, so I'm skipping past it. So we head ourselves over to Termina, where we do not get Glenn, unfortunately. Eli has both Magus and Frog in his party, so...
Yep.
Fuck us, I guess.
Yeah,
yep.
Well, actually, Glenn
never mind.
Glenn gets the X-Strike ability with Surge. I keep wanting to call him Chrono.
Yeah. The one thing it doesn't let you call him is the one thing you want to call him.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to be available all the time. I don't know what the deal is with it.
Yeah, I think... They both have to be at, and this is me remembering from like fucking high school. So I think they both have to be at level 3 on their element grid, which is where their level 3 attacks are. So I know Surge's is dash and slash, and I don't know what Glenn's is, but
it's the combination of those two. It's the combination of those two at once. So you got to have them able to use it, and also, of course, they have to have stamina in order to use it.
Yeah. And I
don't have any yet.
If either of them use that move, so if, like, say you use dash and slash, I think you can't use X Strike. I think it uses both of the elements at the same time to do it. But I don't have a dual tech yet on any of my people, so I'm not the most familiar. I'm just remembering from a long ass time ago. So,
I haven't got any either.
So skipping past stuff with Greco. skipping past the stuff that
everything else until the Hermit Island is just side quests. There's a bunch of side quests we can go do if we feel like. And by side quests, I mean mostly like you pop in an island to see what's going on with it. For example, there's this whole other island called Marbule, which is a whole nother town we can go to, but it's literally nothing happens there. You just learn that it exists, and it'll be important later. So it's just like you can go to a bunch of islands where nothing happens. You can also go around and collect the pieces to everyone's favorite boy Skelly, which I did. That's awesome. And there are a couple more. Sam, did you return to Viper Manor?
I did not.
There's some major stuff in Viper Manor if you return there during the daytime, but I will tell y'all later. So that's it. We can go on with the actual plot.
Yeah. So, did we have to do another Hydra Marsh, or was that just to get Skelly?
The next required thing is not even really required, but the next thing is the Hermit Island, and then the ghost ship, and then the rest of it. That's it. That's all there is.
Yeah. I did a lot of side quests because I wanted Skelly, and Skelly is the entirety of my memorable moments for later. So yeah, we make our way to the Hermit's hideout, which a couple people had talked to us about, and it's on fire on the mini map, like it's smoking when you pull up to it, and so you get there and it's been roasted, and you're like, well, shit. What happened? And Harley pops up and is like, I did it. I set this shit on fire. Fuck you. And she says that it was Link's idea, and we fight her and kick her butt. So then after she leaves, Old Man Radius was fine. He didn't get killed in the fire, which then also correction on last week. We said that we thought that the Prophet of Time was another world Radius, but that's wrong because this is another world Radius. So Vimk in the Discord says that actually was Balthazar, which hasn't come up yet, but it makes sense. I mean, he was also the Prophet of Time in Chrono Trigger, but correction on that. So we talked to Radius, and
it's a pretty pointless trip, honestly. His health wasn't destroyed. He had an underground section that she didn't know about. And he gives you a lot of backstory on the Knights of the Acacia Dragoons and all that stuff. Yeah. It's stuff that we all pretty much already talked about, or at least had inferred, but it's just more backstory. Yeah, it's like, Radius himself used to be an Acacia Dragoon. In fact, he was there before like the younger ones took over, which is Karsh and all them. We're gonna learn more about this stuff later, so there's not really a whole reason to go into it. And also, the reason we came here was to get help, and he explicitly was like, I really can't help you, honestly. And then he drops a lot of foreshadowing about how some interesting foreshadowing about how there's a ghost ship around somewhere.
Yeah, that's what we learned from there. Because our goal that we found in Termina that I had skipped while we were doing it is we're trying to get to Fort Dragonia, because that's where all of the Acacia Knights are currently. That's where they escaped to after Viper Manor. So that's where we're trying to go, but we have to get through Mount Pyre, which is surrounded by a fog and is super treacherous and filled with lava. So we don't know how to get through that. We're trying to figure out how to get through it. That's our quest that we're currently on, that we've been talking about for 20 minutes, and I forgot. So
our goal the whole time is like, we got to go fuck up Link's. He's in Fort Dragonia. Let's go get him.
Yeah. So on the world map, which is not a map of the world, it is a map of a tiny, tiny, tiny subsection of the world. But on the world map, there is a big old hunk of fog, and if you go into the fog, the ghost ship shows up, and you're like, oh shit, the ghost ship's real. But then you get on it, and it's just like a pirate ship with a bunch of dry ice machines. And
they
like,
literally pretend to be ghosts to get people off their backs. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's real good. And we meet Fargo, who's hot, and
so cool.
and he's like, "Oh, you probably don't work for Link, so I can trust you and tell you all of my secrets." And I really thought he was going to join here, which probably means that he joins in Homeworld, because this happens. This happens a lot in this game, where like it happened with me with Nikki's side quest last week, where I go through with Nikki and then a person comes out that's not a generic NPC and she has a portrait, and I do this whole quest for her, but she's not the Nikki, the Miki that joins our party. It is Miki on Homeworld that eventually joins our party. And it feels like that's probably the same thing happening with
Yeah, probably. Because as we've learned so far, in this game, characters joining your party generally is like... They basically the characters put out very quickly in this game. The first time you meet them, they join your party. Like Greco is literally, you have a... I'm not going to go into Greco, unfortunately, even though I love him, but you have a quick little scene where you see who he is, and then you go into his house and you talk to him, and he's like, "Hey," and then he joins your party.
Yeah.
That's how it usually tends to go. Yeah, so the fact that Fargo didn't immediately join means probably the other dimension version of him will join our party.
Yeah. So while he's bragging about saying, "Oh, we're a fake ghost ship, we just want people to get off our backs," the real ghost ship shows up and attacks their fucking boat. So now we have to fight all the ghosts. We unfortunately don't get to go to the ghost ship. The ghosts come over to our regular ship. Oh, that's a flashback about Lynx. I don't think it's actually important.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll get to it when we get to the links of it all, if it is important. But so yeah, we fight a bunch of ghosties, make our way through. We have to find a key and everything. We run into Pip from Viper Manor, who is there somehow. Doesn't make sense, but that's where he joins your party. And yeah, so you kill all the ghosts, and Fargo, thank you. He talks about how Mount Pyre has a fire dragon there that's like pissed off at all humans and doesn't let anybody through. But something water dragon isle something. That's how you get through something, and that's where he sends us off to.
Yep.
So
this is technically, in the most strict definition of the words, optional. But Mount Pyre literally is overflowing with lava, and the lava immediately takes your party to 1 hit point each if you touch the lava. So it's really hard to get through without going to do this dungeon first. So it's sort of an optional, but also totally required.
And the chapter we just entered after you finish the ghost ship is called In Search of Dragon Blue. So it's optional, but implied that you should probably...
Because it even gets its own chapter title, yeah.
Yeah. So we make our way to Water Dragon Isle, which is... Well, there is this whole side quest to go get Doc that I didn't do. I literally have had... Well, now I have 0 people in my party. But at the body switch, I had like 5, 6 maybe. I'm doing real bad at finding characters in this game, and I'm like vibing and hanging out.
What's the part you just mentioned?
Getting Doc on your team.
No, we don't get Doc. I have a funny memory moment about that later.
Doc can join your party because he just did in the.
He joined mine automatically.
We as in me and you, Sam, cannot get Doc.
Okay. That I forgot that the Let's Play did that because I'm already back to their normal Let's Play after the side parts about the other characters. So I forgot that was a thing. So so we go over to Water Dragon Isle, and it is a boneyard. There is nothing there. So we are like, well, let's go check the other one. And we go back to Homeworld, and it is flourishing, and that's where all the fairies live. And so we're like, all right, cool, let's go and talk to some fairies, meet a water dragon, get some magic powers, stop everything. Oh shit, all of the fairies are being murdered in front of our goddamn eyes. Eli, was there fairy murder going on in your water dragon aisle?
Yeah, it was lousy with fairy murder.
Weird, because you didn't go fight the Hydra to make them leave.
They just said that humans had come and driven them away. They didn't blame me for it.
So we didn't do it, but it happened anyway because humans are bad. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I in my version of the game, this is a very explicit arc where it's like, we destroyed their environment and they all left, and now they need some place new to live. So now they're fighting these people, and it's all my fault. And I felt really depressed about it the entire time.
Yeah, and especially because you go through, if you have Rasley in your party, which I did, because everyone online talks about how Rasley is just as good as getting Glenn because she's a great magic user, and I could never keep Rasley alive for one goddamn turn. So I was still trying to make fetch happen, and so she was in my party when I went to the boneyard one where there were fairies and stuff, and she was like, "Oh yeah, these are all my friends. I know they're not my real friends, so I'm not like introducing myself or whatever, but like these are all my friends, and everything is great." And then I go and watch all of her real friends being murdered, and it's all my fault.
Yeah.
So
having her in your party is really important. My stream people were like, "Hello, you're going to Water Isle. You should probably put Rasley in your party." And I was like, "Oh yeah, good idea."
Yeah. But
my viewers on my stream are way smarter than me about every single thing in this game.
Yeah, so we stop fairy murder by doing a lot of dwarf murder ourselves.
The only way to stop one murder is to commit another murder.
Yeah, so
that's some gun lover logic right there.
we're the good guy with a swallow.
Yeah.
We're the good guys with an element grid.
Yeah. So we have a boss fight with a dwarf tank. It's real cool.
Oh, it's hard as fuck, and I hated it. It took forever.
Yeah, I remember, like, so I haven't game over it except for once on accident in the first week, and I don't even remember where it was because it was like a trash mob or something. But and so I remember like having an issue with this one, but I've just gotten a real good feel for like do an attack, unleash the strongest thing that I have, and then do an attack, but just do a couple of them so that I can then heal, etc., and like keep myself alive. Like I've gotten into a good rhythm with the thingy, so I haven't ever died, but I remember hating this one a little bit because he hits like a truck. His element shot thing like does like 100 damage to each person, and right now we barely have 200 health, so it's
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
That's so funny because I had a really hard time this week with a lot of bosses, but not this one. This one didn't even make an impression. Just completely arbitrary. I mean, not arbitrary. I guess we had different parties, but it's just completely opposite experiences.
That's crazy because that's how I was with the fire dragon we're about to get to.
All I remember about the tank was that he was super cute. I didn't remember it being difficult.
So after we kill the tank, the dwarves are like, "So you're just going to run us off too?" And Rasley, then this is the part I wanted to ask you about. Rasley was like, "No, the Hydra was pregnant. There's now like 6 Hydra babies out there in the marsh." And he's like, "Oh, that's awesome. We're going to go move back to the marshes."
Nope. I don't remember what happened exactly, but we wait. First of all, have we talked about Rosetta yet?
No, we're about to.
Okay.
It's the next scene.
So basically, I don't actually remember if they go back to the marshes or not. I don't remember that, but basically, they're just mad at you, and they talk about how humans suck and how they have no home, and it's some sad music plays and they leave, and that's it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the Let's Plays, the dwarves just die. They don't even run away. You just killed them all. And that sucks. So I guess if you don't do the Hydra Marshes and you don't have Rasley in your party to diplomacy, they just all fucking die.
You've actually prevented murder by committing genocide.
Yeah.
So, good job.
Eye for an eye.
Yeah. An eye for every eye.
Yes. So,
or every eye for an eye. I don't fucking know. Anyway,
whichever way that works.
Yeah.
So, you make your way to the top of the aisle, and Rosetta is there. And if you have Rasley in your party, like I do, they have a like heart to heart. And I'm trying. What else? I'm trying to remember what she said, because she doesn't say a damn thing to the Let's Player. Do you remember what they said, Maddy?
Rosetta?
Yeah.
That depends. Does Rosetta die or not in your game?
I think she died. But
okay, so I just found out because I was looking up some stuff while we were talking that Rosetta doesn't have to die here. But she did for me because I was too slow in getting to the bottom of the dungeon and beating the boss. So what happens is Rasley asks if she can have some time with her sister. So she leaves the party briefly, and we go to the next room where we talk to the water dragon. And when we come back later, Rosetta died.
Okay.
So we don't get any, like, she doesn't give like a farewell parting speech or anything like that.
That's cool that it's timed, though. I love this game is made entirely out of the moment of, we said we would wait for Shadow. If we wait until there's 10 seconds left, Shadow stays in your party. That's this whole game.
Yep. So she could have died. Shit. So she could have not died, but she did.
Yeah,
and now Rasley's really sad about it.
Yeah. So we go in to talk to the water dragon, and the water dragon's like, yo, I already know what's up. You can have my breath, which will freeze everything around you, and including the lava that's keeping you from going through Mount Pyre. And you're like, hell yeah, thanks, bro. And as you're leaving, it asks you, it asks it in old-ass English, wilt thou change this world, or wilt thou change thyself? Wilt thou live on thy mother planet, or wilt thou turn thy back on the planet and tread another path? And
also, one other important thing he gives you besides the ice breath, by the way, he does give you your first summon. Did either of y'all actually use this summon at all?
I tried so hard to use that summon. So I slapped it on Nikki because it's a blue summon, and Nikki's highest spot, it made it be it's Frog Prince, I think is the name of it. So it's Frog Prince -2. So I couldn't even put it in its appropriate spot. I had to put it in a lower spell slot. And you only can do summons, as Salt and Pepper tell us, if your field is all the way blue. So I did like Ice Beam, heal, but then enemy was like yellow bullshit move. And so I'm like, well, fuck. Ice Beam. All right, now Nikki, go and do a combo and finish that combo with a summon because I want to do it. And he hits the first hit of his combo and the motherfucker dies. I'm like, well, god damn it, I'll never see this fucking summon.
I haven't had a blue character in my party after that point in the game. The only blue character I ever had was... I had someone who was blue.
Lena? No, you didn't get Lena.
Is Rasley blue?
No, she's green.
No. I had someone blue for a little bit, but I haven't had him since, so I haven't even touched the summon.
I've been using Surge, Guile, and Glenn. So I don't have a blue person with me.
I tried using Rasley for most of the dungeon, the upcoming next two back-to-back dungeons, but I can't, in good faith, take Skelly out of my party. He's too good. So I only have one spot that I can rotate, and I was trying to make Rasley happen. I gave up in the middle of this next dungeon, or no, in Fort Dragonia, and I switched back to Nikki, and I've probably going to keep that party for, well, I guess I won't keep that party because I ain't got no party anymore, but we'll get there. So, a lot of stuff that I didn't do, I don't think is important right now.
No, we had to Mount Pyre.
Yeah. Oh, what the fuck is this? I don't remember that happening.
What? We go to Mount Pyre. Who cares? It didn't happen.
There's a flash forward that I don't remember happening, but apparently it happens.
No, I didn't get it either. I saw it on a LP that I was briefly looking at to plan this week, and there's a bit of backstory we get here. It's actually backstory. It's extremely important foreshadowing. Wait, did you get it, Eli?
Is it where house is burning down and there's like a child's drawing in crayon that says Luca?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I sure got that.
Yeah, it's super major. I just didn't want to bring it up if none of us got it.
That might be only in the you leave kid to die route then.
Maybe
I think we could have got it. We just didn't for reasons. I was looking this up earlier. But anyway, we get our first big connection to Chrono Trigger here.
Kid talks about how she was orphaned.
There's a whole follow-up scene to that we didn't get either.
She was adopted, and she says, she doesn't say Luca at all. You only know it because it was in that dream she had, with the house burning down. But she says, I was adopted, and this girl was like my sister, and then I lived with my sister for a long time, and we were super happy, and then this Lynx guy came and fucking murdered her, and I really miss my sister, and it's really sad.
That's cool.
It's very important to note that she does not once say Luca.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that you see this scene if Rasley isn't in your party and the kid is.
Cool. That's not what I did because I had Skelly and I'm never taking Skelly out of my party. I know,
right? Skelly's I fucking adore Skelly. God damn it. I love him. The only reason I took Cambo out of my party is because I figured he needed a break for a while. Also, he and Skelly are the same element. Hambo's on a sabbatical right now.
Yeah. So, now that we have the breath and some backstory, we head into Mount Pyre, and if you're like me, you see that there's a chest in the lava, and you're like, oh, cool, let me freeze this lava and walk over to the chest, in which case you now can't get that chest because it's under the ice. And
I started by going into the lava and going, ow, lava is hot. I'll use my ice power. Oh, chest. I can't get it now. So, I could have gotten the chest, but I didn't because lava is hot.
I actually did end up getting it because of how I think I mentioned earlier, I forgot to save like a dumbass, so I had to do this dungeon twice. So the second time around, I did get it, although it's not anything interesting. It's not worth getting, honestly. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, there's another one later on that is more important, I think. But even then, you don't fucking need it.
One thing I actually like about this game, you think this would be a bad thing, but I actually like it. Most of the treasure is completely not very good or interesting. It doesn't really matter. And when I say treasure, I mean treasure that comes from treasure chests. There's all kinds of very, very important items and elements you can get in this game from various places, but the treasure chests are usually just nonsense. So if there's there's been a couple times so far where there's been a treasure chest that's on a cliff or off in the distance, and I can tell there's some kind of puzzle to get it. And if I wasn't streaming, I probably would just stubbornly try and get it for 30 minutes. But since I am streaming, I'm like, fuck it. It's probably a capsule. Who cares? So I've just been skipping. I've never skipped past this many. I'm digging into this game in every single way except for getting the treasure chests. That's the one thing I'm not fucking with. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. So in Mount Pyre, we fight Salt and Pepper, and they teach us about element stealing. which hasn't come up since. Don't know why they tutorialized it there. But you also run into Another World's Draggy, which joins your party in a cool way in like a disc. But you get to meet him here. I know he joins your party in a cool way because I thought he did it this way, and I tried for like 30 minutes to make it happen. In which case, I looked it up, and they were like, "Yeah, it doesn't happen yet." But yeah, that's basically it. So you make your way to the fire dragon, and you let's see.
Nothing happens. You have a Sultan Papor fight. You have a fire dragon fight. You walk past a giant fire dragon. Brief thing I should mention here, I guess, is that this game has lore which involves 6 giant magical dragons that are like the god dragons of the El Nido archipelago. That wasn't really it. That's not an important plot point yet, but it keeps low-key being a thing. For example, you can see if you go hang out at Marbule for no reason, you can see the black dragon in Marbule. He's asleep, and you can just be in the same room as him and he's asleep. The water dragon is the one who gives you the power. There's also an island called Earth Dragon Island, and there's also an island called Sky Dragon Island. Nothing happens if you go to them, though. And here, there is a fire dragon, and he's in the background. Again, he's actually not sleeping. He's, like, trapped in the ground. It's very weird.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, nothing happens. You just see him. So the game's establishing that there are these, like, everyone's favorite pieces of world building and lore from Chrono Trigger. Remember when Chrono Trigger had dwarves and fairies and dragons? Those things from Chrono Trigger?
Yeah, there's so much in this game that, like, I really feel that they were like, okay, so we have this idea where we want to fill in some lore of Sky Place. Forget its name at the top of my head. They're like, okay, cool. What parts from Chrono Trigger you're going to use? Like, oh no, that's it. The rest of it is going to be completely unrelated.
Yeah.
Other bullshit. It just is going to fill in this one plot hole that we had in Chrono Trigger.
And also one plot point that's established in this chapter that, since you went past it, I thought I'd just briefly mention it, since it's just, I think, a little bit important. If you're in El Nido, you notice that the entire world map is surrounded by reefs. And also there is a little entrance to it, and it's actually a little bit of a cute joke because the entrance has like this current that you can't get through, and part of you might think like, oh, that's like a gating thing, like Zelda, like later I can go through that current and see what's outside. It's like, no, that's just graphics. This is the whole game world map. But it is the case that El Nido Archipelago has been like historically like isolated from the rest of the world for the majority of its history, and it also is implied that humans didn't show up there until somewhat recently. They don't explain, maybe like 100 years. I don't know if they really say it, but it's like there's basically some colonialism thing going on where it's like this is a weird, magical, mystical land that has shit that the rest of Chrono Trigger doesn't have. It's got demi-humans is the main race, but it's also got dwarves, it's got fairies, they're all living in harmony, and there's also these god dragons. And then humans show up like 100 years ago, and they're sort of colonizing it, and now, of course, they're at war with Poor. But yeah, it's like you can't get there via boats, really, because there's crazy storms and stuff. So that's... so that's a thing. And the reason I'm saying that's not just lore, it is going to be very important in like 3 weeks, so might as well say it now.
Yeah. So on your way out, you fight the 3 remaining bad guys on the Acacia Dragoons, and basically nothing happens with that. You just fight them because they're trying to stop you from getting to the fort, and you go to the fort anyways. I did not realize at this moment, but Harley shows up to tell you this is the point of no return. Make sure you do all of your side quests before you walk through this door.
Yeah, and I say, literally tells you that it's the point of no return.
Yep.
Like, I'm looking at the screenshot. She goes, if you proceed any further, there will be no turning back. And I'm like, whatever. And I walk straight through it right as Maddy was like, hey, did you get Greco or any of these other side characters? And I'm like, well, this is me now.
Well, that's one reason why my stream took so long this week, because it's like, there's all these side quests and optional characters, and it's like, no, if you don't do them by the end of this dungeon, you can't do them. Actually, that might not be true. You could do them, but I don't like. There could be a chance later in the game to get Greco. I don't know, but like, you can't do them for a fucking while. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. As we'll see in just a second. So we make our way to Fort Dragonia in the middle of Mount Pyre, and oh shit, it's the place from our dream sequence. And you're like, oh cool, I've already done this dungeon, and then the game goes like, haha, gotcha, and you have to do about 8 times longer of the dungeon that you haven't done so far. So the first floor has 4 different puzzle rooms, one of which is about 8 times more of a big deal than the other ones, and it took me forever.
3
and
of them are fine, and one of them's bullshit.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed all of the fine ones. I hated the bullshit one, like so much that I saved in the I put my Vita in sleep mode, put it on the charger in the middle of it to come back and do it the next day because I didn't want to do it anymore. So you do all of those, and at the end of each one, there's like a pillar in the color of one of the elements, and you turn it off, and sometimes fight a boss. Most of them are not important plot-wise. It's just like, this is the big thing that's here in the room. This is literally just a gauntlet-ass dungeon. So you make your way through all of them. They're bullshit, to eventually go through the elevator you do at the beginning. But none of the cutscenes that happen at the beginning happen here. And I don't know if it's because I didn't have Kid in my party. Because like I said, I cannot take Skelly out of my party.
Yeah, I didn't happen to me either. Well, first of all, the party was not the same as the dream. So it's a little funny. It's like, damn, Serge, if you're going to have a prophetic dream, why would you have a slightly inaccurate prophetic dream? But the cut, like they come up the elevator. And you recognize that scene from literally the first thing that happens in the game, and then you're just in control. Like, it's just gameplay, and there's no cutscene at all. I'm like, what? Maybe they just didn't want to repeat it. Maybe the idea is that like this conversation does happen, we just don't see it happen. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, and so the Let's Play has Kid in their party, and it doesn't do anything there either. Yeah. So no idea.
I mean, the conversation is just let's go get him. That's all it is. Yeah. So. We then do the part of the dungeon from the dream sequence, except this time there's a boss, and that boss beat the shit out of Eli.
I didn't die.
Oh,
I ran away like a bitch.
The boss that kicked my ass was the one before it, the one before the elevator. That one fucking annihilated the bejesus.
The golem thing.
I had to use my brain the most I've ever used in this game. What?
The sun one?
Yes, I had to like... Oh, wait. No, I was going to say I had to use my brain and be super smart about it. Actually, no, it just took me 2 tries. And on my second try, I just had to think about it a little bit, and then I beat him. Never mind. The only boss in this game that required me to be, like, we're talking... going into the menu and thinking about what my elements are going to be and planning out my entire strategy was the fire dragon. But the sun fucked me up. This one was I didn't die, but boy, scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really cool because like you turn off the black pillar, and every single time you've turned off the yellow pillar and fought a yellow boss. You turn off the green pillar and fought a green boss. You turn off the white pillar and fought a white boss. You turn off the black pillar and a rinky-dink little like red frog shows up, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And so you go to like kick his ass, and then he burps up like a eldritch horror, and then he becomes a black boss. And
like a black slime really monster comes out of its mouth. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, like it a lot. But otherwise not important. It's just happened. So then we ride our magic elevator up, and there is still no cutscene. And we walk up to the door, and we get the whooshy little zoom in that we had before where Serge remembers his dream, but that's it. So we walk through the door, and so we walk in there, and there is Viper and Lynx. And Lynx is like, we've been expecting you, and Viper's like, I've been waiting to kick your ass for a long time, so I'm going to kick your ass. And he's basically a fake fight. He might not technically be a fake fight, but I took him down with like...
I also found this fight pretty difficult.
You found it difficult?
Yeah, I thought it was so tough for me. It didn't die. It was so tough for me that when it turns out there's another boss afterward, I was like, okay, this has got to be a fake fight, right? Because you wouldn't follow up a boss battle that tough with another one. Turns out they would. But yeah, it's pretty tricky. It's tough.
So turn one for everyone's with everyone's first round of stamina, I filled up their element grids. Turn two, I used their strongest spells, and he died on turn two. I thought it was a fake fight.
That's
I
hilarious.
thought it was like he's this big old badass that like we thought was going to be the boss of last week, and now he's like been hyped up, and he was fake. But apparently not.
I do recall him dying pretty quickly, but he also hit me really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
But he didn't die in 2 turns. He died in like a few more than that. But no, like one of my characters was dead by the end.
Weird. How did it go for you, Eli? For Viper.
Yeah, I don't really think I had problems with those. I was at the very end of my wits by that point. But, no, they went okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we take him down, and he's like, so it seems you are a worthy opponent. I will unsheath my sword now, which is why I thought it was a fake fight, because he literally was like, I was going easy on you. So he like gets ready to fight, and Lynx just fucking slits his goddamn throat. And it's cool.
And he's like, Lynx, the obvious villain of the game, how could you have betrayed me?
Yeah. And he's like, cuz. So he specifically says, you were useful in helping me make my way around these islands. I appreciate your help, General, but I have no use for you. This fort will be your grave. And it's cool. So now a kid, for me, runs up out of nowhere and is like, hey, Lynx, I'm going to fucking kill you now. So then we have a fight with Lynx, who still doesn't have his own music yet. But then we fight Lynx, and what's cool about Lynx, did you notice this, Maddy? That he has combos.
Wait.
He has combos and an element grid. He's a player character.
Oh, no, there's
but
more.
That you don't get
there's
control.
More to him that you must not have noticed. Do you notice what happens when you use his elements?
No.
Well, first he used Luminaire. No, he didn't use Luminaire. First he used... So he's black element, right? So first... Did you notice when you were fighting him that maybe you went to go do an element on Surge's turn, and you went to go use one of your white elements, and it was grayed out, and you thought to yourself, I didn't think I used that in this battle yet. I guess I did.
No.
That didn't happen to me.
Oh, it did. He probably just didn't think about it. He uses your elements.
That's cool.
Every time he uses a white element, he's using your grid.
Oh, shit. Well,
that's cool.
I started out with fucking Luminaire, so he couldn't steal that shit from me.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
Right, so anything,
so.
If he used any white elements that battle, he was using yours.
That's cool.
Off of your own grid, yeah.
That's
Which
even cooler.
Which is really fucking cool. It's like, hey, the characters seem to be connected in some way. Why is he literally yanking my own magical spells that I have inside of my gaming abstraction?
By the way, we have approximately 8 minutes till Hollow Knight starts. So.
All right, let's get this going. So we'll probably be a little late for Hollow Knight, but it's okay.
Well, I'm
we'll catch the meat of
gonna
it.
see if it's running on schedule or not. Don't mind me.
So we fight Lynx, and he eventually goes down. He's I didn't notice that he was stealing your moves. I don't think he actually ever used a white spell against me. If he did, it was a low level one that I didn't really need, because I just unleashed as many bombs as I could of level 6 or 7 spells. But so he goes down and is like, "Oh, you're more trouble than I thought." And he says, "Have you ever questioned who you really are?" And he goes, "What has been significant of your existence until now?" And he goes, 10 years ago, the boundary of space and time was torn, and part of me, in fact, died." And we get a flashback of a panther, not a man panther like Lynx, but a regular panther going and attacking Surge. And he goes, "You cannot defeat me because denying me is the same as erasing your very existence." And we're like, what? And it doesn't go into more than that here, but it's kind of implying that Lynx is another Surge. He's another world's Surge.
Or maybe it's like I think it might be like I hate to mention this most accursed of all liberal media genres, but like a Horcrux situation.
Maybe.
I think it might be a Horcrux situation. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, but because it sounds
like... Or a
like...
Kingdom Hearts 2 situation.
Yeah. Because it sounds like in this world, Lynx took over Surge when Surge, quote-unquote, died. At the very least. There's something going on there. It'll probably be more specific later.
They're a forced dyad. Whatever.
Yeah, they're a forced dyad. And then Surge realizes that he's actually Magus's kid, and that's the reason. That's the reason that he has all of these powers.
So upset about this.
God, I fucking hate that movie. This is not Star Wars talk. If you want Star Wars talk, check your feed. There's Star Wars talk released 2 weeks ago. But so kid is like, he's full of shit. And Lynx is like, well, if I'm full of shit, then look at this shiny blue thing. And you're like, oh, hey, it's the shiny blue thing from earlier that made me have a flashback where our faces swapped. I wonder what will happen if I stare deeply into this blue thing. And so then Surge like collapses onto the floor, and then he looks up and has Buffy the Vampire Slayer eyes. And Kid is like, what's wrong? And then Surge's face portrait pops up and is like, don't worry about me, kid. I'm totally fine. I'm talking in this game now. I'm no longer a silent protagonist. And then the screen goes completely still, and you're like, what the heck? And so like the last thing is like, come on guys, let's go. And so you have the controller in your hand, and the party is like set up in the V like they are when you come to a stop in the game. So you move your control stick to move, and Lynx moves instead of Surge.
Only for a fucking second too, before it goes into a cutscene. It's like a blink and you'll miss it. Like, wait, what? Super good.
It's so good. And so you try to move, and Surge is like, what are you doing, Lynx? Come on, kid, go ahead and kill him. And Kid is like, all right, I'm going to. And it goes into a fight, and you're controlling Lynx against your 3 party members who hit for party member damage and not random mob damage. So they fucking kill you before their first turn is over. And you just fall to the ground, and Surge is like, all right, you did it, kid. Finish him. And he's like, she's like, wait, something seems fishy. I can't do it. And Surge is like, well, I'll do it. I'll avenge Luca for you. And Kid's like, wait. He's like, what? She's like, I never fucking told you Luca's name, which is a trope, but every fucking time it happens, I fucking love it in every piece of media.
It's so good because I never catch it. And then the character does, and I'm like, oh damn, he knew something he shouldn't have known.
Yeah, so then we get one of my favorite FMVs that we've gotten so far, which, by the way, this game gives them out like fucking candy. They're like a second long, but every time they're like, we want the camera to do a dramatic close-up, have an FMV. It the Final Fantasies that came out around this time like you get like a good FMV like per chapter, like per disc maybe. This one it's like not every fucking second you get an FMV, which is so good. But this one's dramatic, and so kid is like, wait, I fucking know what's up, and Surge is like, well, I've been had, and just fucking stabs her and knocks her to the ground, and you see Lynx mouth the words, because there's no voice acting in the FMVs, but he mouths the word kiddo, which is kid's name in Japanese, which I think is cool. So Surge in Lynx's body screams out for her as she dies, and then we get the drippy blood dagger and smirk from the flashback, and your party members are like, wait, what the fuck? Why are you doing this? And then Surge's portrait changes to have his Buffy the Vampire Slayer eyes in his like text portrait, which is really cool. And he's like, well, this is the end of you guys, and he knocks them all out, and then he knocks Kid out, and it's like, you know what? Nothing bad will happen if I just wait to kill you later. This will be fine. This won't come back to bite me. This is not setting up for her to survive.
He does that stupid fucking villain thing. Maybe there's a dumb plot reason later where he couldn't kill her for lore reasons, but right now it definitely comes off as just like, I'm gonna not kill you.
This sequence, and this is a spoiler for Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. So if you haven't played that game, sorry. But it reminded me of Dupless taking over Mario's body.
Oh yeah, that was a great part.
Like you know shit's gone haywire when your silent protagonist is suddenly talking.
Yeah. And so then Surge comes over to gloat at you, and you can't say anything because now you're the silent protagonist in a different person's body. And so he's like, well, now that I've got your body, maybe I've got my body back. I still don't quite know what's going on there. He takes the Dragon's Tear, which is that floaty blue thing, and he's like, I have the key to the gate of fate. It's finally time for the frozen flame to awaken. Surge, if you happen to survive, come to the Sea of Eden, and we'll fight again there. And then
he leaves, and then the coolest fucking graphics I've ever seen happen. It's not a FMV. I mean, I guess it probably is. They probably used FMV technology here.
Is, yeah.
But when you're in game, it does like what you see from much more modern teen, like 20 teens era, like glitch art, where like the whole screen just like it like fragments. And I don't mean it turns into fragments. I mean it does JPEG fragmentation. It's fucking cool.
It's real cool. So then you get a FMV of kids standing on a beach, turning around and smiling at you, and the camera zooms in onto her eyeballs, and then you're underwater, and then you wake up in a Van Gogh painting. And that's where we're going to stop talking. It's not where we saved. There's one more cutscene.
You wake up in a Van Gogh painting as Lynx, and also the best track in the game is playing.
Yeah, which is the track we will listen to right now as we go into our incredibly short children's fun fact science corner. I still need a better name that's not a Night Vale reference for this next section about where we talk about Radical Dreamers and Chrono Trigger stuff. Chrono Trigger shit. I did not see it, but you can find the crashed fucking Epic this week.
That's the part I was going to mention. I'm just going to very briefly, I'm not going to go into it too much, nothing really happens, but So one of the optional things you can do in this game is you can go back to Viper Manor. You can go during the day. It's pretty much abandoned because they all left to go to Fort Dragonia. And hey, the fact that it's defenseless is going to be important next week. And anyway, there's a few things that can happen there. If you go into the room where we met Lucia, the hot German scientist lady, she just like, I'll join your party. And then
I got her.
Oh, nice. And then if you go to another part of the dungeon, there's another. Oh no, this is Lucia again. Actually, I got this scene. I just said there were scenes in reverse order. There's Lucia, and she's talking about this like weird bio-sentient plant creature. And she's like, I would need this special item in order to make it like a real boy. And you get that from the another world, Hydra Marsh. So you got to go through Hydra Marsh again to get that. I did it. And you get a character named Neo Theo, who is like I named him Neo Geo, who is like an artificial life form. And so those two characters you can get from the dungeon. And also, if you go back to the big library where we first met Balthazar, if you go behind it, there's a switch, and you click the switch, and you go down a secret ladder. And this is something I have never seen in my previous playthroughs of the game. You go down a secret ladder, and holy shit, there is a wreckage of the Epic from Chrono Trigger. Your airship from Chrono Trigger. It's just chilling there. There's nothing about it. If you walk up to it, the characters are like, what is this? It looks like some kind of device. It's broken. That's it. Nothing happens. There's also a big blue monster there. It's the same big blue monster that we fought on the beach in the very first dungeon in this game, but I'm now realizing, contextually speaking, positioning them next to the Epic, that those might be news. Which, now that I'm realizing some plot stuff that happens later, actually they're definitely news. And the new doesn't really say anything. I don't remember if he says anything important plot-wise. I don't think he does. And he also says, do you want to change your name? So you can rename your characters here. Yeah. So that's cool. Somehow both the Epic and news are underneath Viper Manor. So what's going on with this place?
I went over there, but I did not notice the Epic.
Yep.
Yeah. It's real cool. So, other things you can do is you can get Skelly here, as we alluded to. You can make your way around to all the different places and find his bones. One of which, like, you can get him here and it's totally fine, but the dungeon that you get him through is definitely a late game dungeon. Like, if you touch any of those mobs, they like kick your ass.
Yeah, so you have to go through just one screen of the dungeon and avoid the bad guys and try to not get owned and get Skelly and then hightail it out of there. Yeah, we're going to be playing that not this week, but next week we're going to be playing that dungeon.
Okay. And so you take Skelly back to his grandma, and she's like, "Why are you so thin? Why haven't you been eating?" And so he's like, okay, cool. Love you, Grandma, but Sir just saved my life, so I'm going to go with him. And he's great. I'm going to talk a lot more about him in memorable moments. But Greco, we already mentioned, is another character we can get here. Is there anybody else? Any other optionals that we missed?
I think no. We already covered some of them, and the ones I just mentioned are the other major ones.
You can get Pip.
I vaguely mentioned Pip.
We mentioned
Pip.
Get him on the ghost ship. That's not a ghost ship.
So see, now y'all listening understand why this is the point of no return. Because hey, guess what? We're not Surge anymore. We're Lynx. All those characters who were in our party, that party of like 15 people, how many I had, I think, that we painstakingly assembled, they're all gone.
Nope.
Yep.
Can't have them.
Now you're just Lynx, which is cool. And
Bye,
I remember when I played this game before, I know that I got my body back. Spoilers. You're going to get your body back. It's happening. But I remember getting back in that moment when your parties merge into one mega party. I remember being like the shit. So excited to get back to all of that. But let's see. So Radical Dreamers references the scene that Eli talked about at the campground where Kid talks about her life at the orphanage is lifted straight from Radical Dreamers, but in Radical Dreamers, he didn't murder everyone there. He just kidnapped Luca, which was the thing. She was trying to go and save Luca in that one. But, let's see. I keep going to all these pages in Control F Radical Dreamers because I'm getting most of my Radical Dreamers stuff because I have not played it from this Let's Play where he is.
I think that's probably it.
I think that's it. I think I remember seeing something. In Radical Dreamers, General Viper exists, but he is already dead at the start of it, and Lynx has already usurped him and taken control of Viper Manor. So when he kills him here, it's like, oh, the thing that you knew was going to happen because it had already happened in the other game that this is a remake of now has happened because I've killed General Viper, which is pretty cool. But that's it that I think of. So the since I mentioned it earlier, Draggy, the little fire dragon that you fight, he has a portrait, so therefore he's a party member because that's how it works. And you get him by going into when you get on the elevator at the end of Fort Dragonia, you can go up or down. If you go down, there's an incubator room, one of which is empty, and you have this big ass egg that you've had since the beginning of the goddamn game. But
I tried that.
The incubator room is off. And I'm like, well, what do I do? Do I have to go up and hit the black spire and then come back down? But if you go up to hit the black spire, the gate closes behind you. So you can't do it. So I reloaded my save. I'm like, what do I do? You go to Homeworld Fort Dragonia, go back to that room, and you can hatch the egg to get Draggy.
Cool.
So I don't know if you do that as Lynx or as when you get when you're Surgigan or what.
Well, there's no way we could have done it yet, so.
Yeah, there's no way we could have done it yet.
Okay, cool. So we didn't miss it. That was my thought as well. I was like, but I have egg. I have it.
But I have egg.
Don't you hate it when it takes a lot longer for an egg to crack than you think it's gonna?
Right. Oh, also another Chrono Trigger reference. The Frog Prince summon is the Frog King from Chrono Trigger. So
nice.
Yeah, he was only in a tiny flashback when he was fighting Cyrus, but there it is. It's a reference. Other than that, I think that's it. It was pretty lean on the Chrono Trigger references besides the major one, that is the Surge was raised by Luca thing that happened. Yeah, let's talk about our memorable moments after we listen to some track. Don't know what it is. All right, memorable moments. I will start on mine because I only remember the one, but Skelly is precious, and I will protect him until the day that I die. So Skelly's run animation, like his walk animation is kind of normal. He just walking, but his run animation, he throws his arms back like a goddamn Naruto, and his head gets limp and just like lolls behind him, and he just fucking like. Forward. That's not a good verb for it. He just kind of just...
He runs like Ed from Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
He does. And so in Fort Dragonia, there's the whole thing where you have to cycle through your party members. And also because I'm playing on the Vita and the speed up is L select, and select is how you cycle through them, I realized Surge doesn't have to be in the lead of my party. So my party is everyone just running behind Skelly, and Skelly's just everywhere. It's great. it has improved this game 100% to have Skelly in your party. He's great.
I got his pelvis and his head and nothing else.
Mm.
And now I'll never get him again. So.
Well, you can get him later, but he's
sure,
he's so good. Also, he says really good stuff. Like when you find one of the items, which is pile of bones, he because most of the time it's like you found his pelvis, you found his shoulder, you found his foot. One of them though is you just find a pile of assorted bones, and he's like, I can't tell what these are. And then he goes, well, I'm sure, because like, I'll just figure it out. I'll just wing it.
Yeah.
And when you finally get, and every time you get some of his bones, he remembers some stuff about his life. But once you find all of them, he's like, all right, time to put him back. And then he starts singing the fucking, like, the leg bones connected to the knee bone song. Like, he literally starts singing that song, and then he fixes himself. And then he's like, cool, bye, thanks, see you later. And then later you meet up with him with his grandma. He's just a hoot and a holler, and I love him. I always imagine he has like a thick Brooklyn accent.
Yeah. He's in my head, he has the same voice actor as Mort from Planescape Torment, which neither of you have probably played, but he's a floating skull in Planescape Torment, and he has a Brooklyn-ish accent, so it's perfect. You're right on top of it. But that's all that I had, besides the Van Gogh place is real pretty and
it's super
real
pretty.
Cool. But
it really is a fucking Van Gogh dimension. Like they said Van Gogh dimension to me, and I'm like, I'm sure I'll know it when I see it. And then I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, it's
just completely. You're literally inside of a Van Gogh painting, and you're running around it, and the sad music is playing. It's very evocative. I have literally one memorable moment. Try to use my syllables here. I had a few more, but I'll get rid of them. It was actually has to do with my stream. When I was playing the game, I was going around Goldov, and I was just loving the characters in Goldov, and I was especially really loving the Doc character. But I didn't really remember him very well. So at one point on the stream, I was like, man, I love this Doc character. And then I was like, man, if I what did I say? I think I just said something like I really hope this character joins my party or something like that. And one of the people watching said, "Do you want me to spoil it?" Or no, that they were like, "I got some bad news for you." Or no, they just they were just like, "Do you want me to spoil what happened to the Doc?" And I was like, "If the thing you're gonna spoil is that I can't actually get the Doc because you only get Doc if you choose the don't save kid path, and therefore I don't get him forever, yes, please do tell me because I want to know about it and get mad about it right now. However, if there's anything else going on with the Doc, don't tell me. I'll find out when I get there." And the commenter person was just like, well, prepare to get mad. I was like, no, I was so upset. I actually forget that was actually one of our RPG Book Club fans. I believe it was Doho. Doho was the one who was telling me that I should get mad about Doc. And I seriously, I love Doc, and the fact that I don't get him on my playthrough because of my plot decisions is a fucking bummer. Anyway, that's it for me. Oh, also, Korcha doesn't have to join your party. When he says he wants to join your party, you ask him if you can use his boat, and he says sure, but only if kid marries me. And he's really creeper about it, so I just left his ass. And he's not even like, I don't think you can ever go back and get him, because if you go to the menu in the menu screen where it lists all your party members, he's not even in there. So Korcha's just gone. I was like, nah, you're not joining my party, fuck you.
I didn't get Korcha, but I got Korcha's mom.
Oh yeah,
Korcha is only on our side.
Yeah.
So we got Korcha and Mel and Rasley. You got Glenn and Doc and Matcha, I believe.
Yeah.
You got Mel?
That was the... Yeah.
Well,
so if you get Korcha and you go back and you talk to Mel, Kid is like, hey, I remember the thingy that we whispered, and I said I promised to be there to help you out. Let's do that. Come with.
I guess I never went back after getting Korcha. Or no, but I didn't get Korcha. Anyway, the point is I never went back to fucking Gold.
Yeah.
Probably because
I don't know if... I don't know if just Kid is enough, but I had Korcha and
since
Kid.
I told Korcha that I didn't want him to join my party, I figured it'd be awkward, so I'm probably not going to go back to Gold.
Yeah. But, what about you, Eli, besides the fact that it's over being your memorable moment?
I'm gonna my memorable moment will be to remember to play it this week. Yeah, I didn't have anything that really like super stood out to me, or if it did, I forgot and didn't write it down because
your live tweets about it. You all capsed when Serge started talking.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was your big one.
I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, like I know some shit's going down, and like I thought it was just like, oh shit, like the Surge of this world is actually Link's, and I mean maybe that is the case, and that's why they were able to switch bodies. But it, like, as soon as Surge actually started talking, I was like, no. And yeah, it was like it very strongly reminded me of the Paper Mario 1000-Year Door thing, and I'm not sure which of those came first.
Chrono Cross came first.
Okay, so I feel like maybe Paper Mario took inspiration from that,
Yeah, maybe.
but I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to figure out the bad guy's name in order to get my body back, except I already know it. It's Link's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to say it backwards to send him to his fifth dimension.
That's impossible. That you cannot say that word backwards.
Oh, fuck, let's wrap it up. It's starting.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh,
right.
Okay.
I'm not actually going to watch it, but y'all are.
Yeah, so if you like what you heard today, you can find us on the web at www.rpgbook.club, where you have links to all of our socials, including our Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/rpgbookclub, where you can toss us some ducats if you like what we do. Donors on our Ko-Fi get to vote on our next game, which is always real cool. But we're going to go watch Hollow Knight.
Final thing. This is going to take 5 seconds. Final thing. Where are we shopping next week?
Okay.
We're shopping next week.
Where are we dropping, lads?
We're going to go to a place called Death's Door. Pay attention because it'll be like on a world map. You're going to Death's Door. We go to Death's Door, and we see a very major reference to Chrono Trigger happens, and then we leave Death's Door to go to the next place. That's when we save.
Okay. When we leave Death's Door, we save. Cool. So, that'll do it for this week. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I've been Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddy Grace Webbin.
Go watch GDQ.
Bye.
Ice in your drink, and then you go to drink the drink, and there's like literally a mixture of temperatures in the same gulp. I kind of think that it's cool. It feels really neat because you think of water as being uniform, right? But you put ice at the top of your extremely large jar of lemonade, and then you go to sip it, and it literally like goes from warm to cold to warm again, like while you're drinking. I'm like, ooh, interesting. There's so many things happening in my mouth right now. Anyway.
There's so many things happening in my mouth right now. Maddy's campaign slogan.
No, people are going to think I'm a fucking bot.